Hey, future millionaires, welcome back to my show, Get Ellievated with Ellie Talks Money. I am so excited to bring you guys another episode full of gems, full of jewels. We have a very, very special guest today. I can't wait for you all to meet her. As you guys know, on Get Ellievated, I love to bring you all value and help new and aspiring entrepreneurs understand what you all can do to start your business the right way, scale it up, and overall bring you guys experienced entrepreneurs that can give you insight and feedback to lessons they've learned and what you all can do to avoid any kind of mishaps as best as possible as you go forward into your business. So make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel and the show if you haven't already. Like this video and let's get right into it. Listen, everything you need to change your life is already within you. You need to believe that. It has to work or it has to work. You got this. Scale your business, make more money, create your best life, and let's get elevated. Welcome to the podcast. All right, y'all, welcome back into the show. So today's guest, listen, I am starstruck because I've been wanting to meet this woman for so very long. She is definitely one of the first people that I followed in my business journey. And I felt like, you know what, if she could create this powerhouse brand and be so successful with her courses, then I definitely could too. So Teri, introduce yourself.
Hey, Ellie, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So tell us about you. What do you do?
So for those that don't know me, my name is Teri Ijeoma, and I'm the founder of Trade and Travel. And I literally did that with my life. I was assistant principal of an elementary school, working in education and nonprofits for about 10 years, and then decided, you know what? I need something different. I need an exit strategy. Yeah. So started doing my side hustle as my main hustle. Up until that time, on the side, I had been trading stocks. I learned about it in college and high school. So I said, you know what if I could just make this my main thing? All I needed was $300 a day to replace my income. Isn't that so crazy? Like how hard we work.
I know.
And then realize I'm doing all this work for $200 to $300 a day. They over here working me like a slave.
I'm
only making $300.
$300. And it's crazy because at that moment, that feels like a lot.
It feels like a ton.
You know, it's like, dang, I just need my $300.
Yes,
so I could go.
That was $1,500 a week.
Yeah,
$6,000 a month.
Yeah,
and that actually was more than my salary.
Yeah,
as an assistant principal, I really just needed $4,000.
Yeah, wow.
Right.
And so you surpassed that.
So started trading and started making money, and it was like $100, $200. Wait, girl, I'm at $300. I can tell this boss bye.
Yes. So what was that moment that you did decide, I'm gone, I'm out?
So, you know, the school year starts in the fall.
Yeah.
By October, like 1 month in, I was already ready to go. I'm like,
just 1 month? You're like, I'm done.
1 month, girl. I'm 1 month. I had a couple things happen at the same time. I had a friend pass away. And thank you. But it's one of those wake up calls, like life is too short.
Sure.
And at the same time, I had a boss that was nitpicky about everything. If there was a project I did and she talked about one of my thumbtacks was the wrong color, I'm like, girl, we done put up 50 million boards all over this school, and you looking at one thumbtack on one poster. And it was probably because we just ran out of the other color. Yeah. Not even like intentional. This is a real reflection of my work. Girl, the janitor probably ran out of thumbtacks. But you over here, well, you don't pay attention to detail.
Right. And that's just too much, you know. You can't thrive in that kind of environment. Feeling like someone is down your throat all the time, looking at you.
Feeling like I was always doing something wrong. Like I was never good enough.
Yeah.
And for me, that had been just a consistent thing throughout my corporate life. Like I felt like I was always working so hard, and then I would get met with an improvement plan 3 years in. And it was like, what? We were just friends yesterday. How come you didn't give me this feedback earlier?
Wait, I don't understand.
Wow. So decided, you know what, I'm gonna exit this. I want to travel the world. I want to see what else God has in this universe. Yeah. And for me, the exit was trading stocks. And I did it. I quit my job 2017, started traveling all over the world, just trading stocks to afford it. And then people started asking me to teach them how I was doing it.
And then boom. That birthed the business.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, how does that feel to go from where you were to now being a multimillionaire? Do you have those moments where you're like, I got money, like, I'm rich now.
So the other day, I had a moment where I now have enough money in one of my investing accounts that it makes $1 million a year. And so my money literally will make me a millionaire every year, and I have to do nothing. Nothing.
Child, I just got chills. Oh.
So
that's so amazing.
The freedom that gives.
Yeah.
What's crazy though is I feel like many of us are so stuck in our ways. Like I hadn't actually accepted that freedom. I still was working like I was crazy.
Yep.
Taking every meeting, not saying no to anything, trying to, fill up my calendar with things, feeling. And it was like, you know what, Teri? You really don't have to do this. Yeah. This is what you worked for. Mm-hmm. At this point, you can start breathing. Yeah. But now start thinking about what is the things that I want to do versus the things I have to do.
Yeah. And what do you think is, so you left your job, which I know a lot of people right now, statistically, people are starting more businesses than ever. They're leaving jobs. What do you think are good things people should implement before they leave? Should they have a plan? Should it just be spur of the moment?
Great question. So one of the things I did is, especially while I was trading and had this side hustle, I would put as much money as I could into my 401k and my retirement. And because I was at a school, it was a 403b. But the main thing is all the money that I could, I would put into there. I know now they just upped it to like $20,000 a year you can put into your retirement. The reason I did that, though, is because when I went full time, I could move that into a self-directed IRA and I could trade with that money. But while I was working, I didn't really need to show it on my taxes.
Yeah.
So go ahead, have the tax savings by putting it all the way in your company's retirement. And then later, you can actually trade that money, start making it work for you and live off of that.
Oh. That is a really good hack. So starting to plan for retirement, or at least investing a little bit, and somewhat getting ready to make that exit,
to bounce.
Yeah.
And it's important that you do save before you quit.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be like, I'm an active investor. The difference between, I know we were talking about it earlier, the difference between a long-term investor and active investor is I trade in and out of stocks for income right now. So if I want to pay for the trip to Greece, I can trade, have my $3,000, pay for Greece. Okay. If I want to pay off my debt, trade, pay off my debt. I did that actually. I paid off my student loans with trading. I bought a house with trading. So that's an active trader. We're trading for income right now.
Yeah.
If you do that, though, you need some money saved up.
Right.
Active investors, we need more in our account. So that's what I'm telling people. If you're currently working, start planning away some savings so you can actually trade with it later.
Now, since you were doing so well with trading, what kind of made you shift into starting the business element of, coaching and the brand that we know now?
Honestly, I was lazy. People kept asking me to go to coffee and these coffee dates. And I'm like, I don't like coffee like that.
Not this much coffee.
Right, girl, please. What you really want to know. And so,
yes.
You don't want to come have a conversation with me. You really want to just chat about how to trade.
Yes.
And it's like, I see it. I understand. So what I did is say, instead of doing all these coffee dates, I'm just going to host a class. And at this time, I was in Thailand. So I actually did my first class talking about stocks in Thailand.
I know that's right. That's amazing.
And they loved it, and I loved it too. Yeah. And so then the next month, I was with a travel group where we travel to a different country every month or a different city every month. And so the next month we were in Vietnam. And they asked me, okay, will you teach another class? Again, I'm lazy. I don't want to do all these little coffee dates. I'm like, yeah, come all together.
Yes.
And we'll do one time, one and done.
Yeah.
Get it done. But did it again in Vietnam. I loved it again. So then I came home to Dallas, and then my friends had seen Instagram pictures of me teaching. So they were like, well, we gave you a couple months. My grandmother had passed away, so they were kind of nice. They didn't ask right. Thank you. Yeah. That was one of my favorite people in the world. Our birthdays are like 3 days apart.
Wow.
She's June 21st. I'm June 19th.
I'm June 21st.
What?
See, that's why we vibe.
Right?
I don't meet a lot of June 21st people.
Really?
No, yeah, I don't.
Wow,
I don't.
Right on the border, right? Between
We're
Gemini,
right on the cusp.
Gemini and Cancer?
Yeah, Gemini Cancer.
Okay, what do you identify with?
I don't know. Depends on the day. If I'm moody that day, I'm a Cancer. If I'm sassy, I'm a Gemini.
Or that's both. Geminis, we got double personality.
We do. We make it work. But we're the best sign.
I agree.
We're the best sign.
June babies.
it's giving. That's why we're both successful.
I agree.
So sidetrack, right? So
Right.
she had you come to Dallas, or you came
so
back
I came
home.
back home, and my friends there were like, "Well, we saw you in Thailand and Vietnam, so we know you're going to teach us." So I said, "Fine." I was actually finishing up seminary. It's my last year of grad school, and like it took me 7 years to finish. I guess that's the year of completion, but it took me 7 years to finish seminary.
Wow.
Finished it, and then like right before, actually the week after finals, I did that class for how to trade in the stock market. And at the time, I didn't think anyone was going to show up. 71 people showed up.
And this was in person?
This was in person.
Oh, wow.
I asked the school, "Can I use a classroom?" And they were like, "Are you the teacher?" And I'm like, "Yep, I'm the teacher."
Yeah.
Even though it's not about the Bible, it's about stocks, but I'm the teacher.
It's me.
One of my advisors from the school was like, "Yeah, I'll come. I want to learn how to do, invest."
Oh my goodness.
71 people came, and then we actually had even more people that wanted to join online. So I said, "You know what? I'm going to just tell them." I had heard about courses. I said, "I'm going to just tell them I have this online course." Didn't have nothing yet.
Right.
But I'm like, if somebody buys it, then
I'll create it. Put it on pre-order.
2 people ordered the course. I know.
Oh, that's right.
Girl, I was a little mad though. I was like, dang, I didn't want nobody to buy it. I could
Now I
go
have to
live
make
my
it.
life. Now I had to go make the course. And I put my everything in. Like, Trade and Travel started because I really wanted 2 people to win.
Wow.
I
That's
wanted
beautiful.
those 2 people to be the best traders ever. And now,
It's become this.
almost 20,000 students later, millions and millions of dollars later,
Yeah.
I just wanted 2 people to win. And I
Yeah.
still just want my students to win.
To win. And I feel like that shows through, when you start a business. I mean, because you almost fell into the business side of it.
Yeah.
Really just by people wanting the information.
So true. Because to tell you the truth, I still just want to go live my life and trade by myself and travel by myself.
By myself. Thank you.
But God says, I need you to help these other people.
Yes.
So this
yes.
is a
That was your
calling for me.
assignment. I love that. And I think that's so key, is really listening and leaning into that assignment. So once you created the course for those 2 people, tell our listeners about, how did you start to scale? Were you on social media? How did you know, like, okay, I can really make this big? Or did you know that it would become big?
I did not know that it would be big, but I knew that anything I do, I would give my all to it.
Yeah.
So it actually took some time. After the live class, I actually thought, okay, once a month I'm gonna do a live class, and I had sold tickets for like $70 or something. So
Yeah.
I had ended up making about like $3,500.
Okay.
So, but to me, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I just made in one day almost what I would have made as an assistant principal
In a month.
in a month. Like, let me just like hone into this one live class. But like, as more and more people started asking me from all over, it was Atlanta, Chicago, California, can you teach us? Can you come here? The online thing seemed to have more of a demand.
Yeah.
And if I could just, I'm like, okay, well, fine. Like, let me just get it done. And then I can actually teach other people in different cities and not have to try to get to them.
Yeah.
So it really organically grew.
Came together.
It was from 2 people to 7, and then I did a launch.
Yeah.
And my first launch was in October of 2018, and I had 30 people. Girl, you don't know how excited I was
know
about
you
them
were.
30 people. Oh my gosh. I ended up making like $60,000 or something like that. Or maybe that was how much I made for the year. But I was,
You were hype.
girl.
Yeah. Because it was new.
Assistant principal, and now I just have this whole new business stream.
Yeah.
And
Outside of the
wasn't even
trading.
trying- right. And I'm still trading.
Yeah.
So
That's a
it
big
just
deal.
kind of organically grew.
I love that. And I was just going to ask you a question, and now I forgot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to dive more into trading and how you guys can start trading right now as well. Because listen, I'm trying to pay for a flight to Greece, and it's giving now. So we'll be right
Gotta
back.
get you to Senegal.
Yes, exactly. Ciao. Hey, future millionaires. Thank you so much for tuning in to Get Elevated, my live coaching and podcast show. I absolutely love sharing this value with you, and I want to make sure that you're tapped in to all the other resources I provide for you here on the channel, as well as in my academy, EllevatedAcademy.com. You guys know that I'm so passionate about helping you start and scale your businesses online, build business credit, get access to funding, and just overall creating multiple income streams. So I want to make sure that you are tapped into my Wealth Masterclass. You can get the link to that down below, or by going to EllevatedAcademy.com and enroll ASAP. I'll see you guys in the Masterclass. Bye. All right, y'all, welcome back. So what I wanted to ask you there is, from the time you created the first course to now, have you created a new one? Have you revamped it? Or is it still the same quality information?
The information is the same. However, now we have several different pillars.
Yes.
So underneath the school's actually called Invest with Teri.
I love that.
Invest with Teri. And then it has several arms. So there's the trade and travel course.
Yeah.
But then there's Master the Trade conference. So this year we're having that in the summertime. Then and then we have the Take Your First Trade challenge, and that's for the newer people just coming in. I feel like I'm missing something big.
That's amazing.
We have Power of 1 Million, which is our YouTube content. So all of that is under the Invest with Teri umbrella.
Yeah.
But then there's these several different pieces.
Sections. So there's almost different entry points that people can get in for your business.
Definitely.
I love that. I think that's really key too. It allows you to expand while still staying true to the core.
Yes.
Which is that first course for 2 people.
Right. And the thing is, I know my value. So I know that I paid $30,000 per class to learn how to actively trade.
Wow.
So I know that that's the value. And that was years ago. So since then it's just gone up.
Yeah.
So when someone asked me even in the beginning, well, how much would it be for me to learn more advanced stuff from you? I never would say anything less than $5,000.
Yeah.
But because I know some people can't afford $5,000, well, if you can't do that yet, we have YouTube. Or if you can't do the whole $5,000, how about half of it? And now we have payment plans.
Oh, I love that.
But it's important to still know your value and not devalue it.
And that's how you came up with your initial price point too. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, how do I price my first course? How do I decide where to balance that? So would you say that it's based off of the value you bring and establishing your price from there?
Yep. I think there's 3 parts to it. I think 1 is market research. What else is out there and what are they charging?
Yeah.
Then 2, it's how much are the people in your course going to get out of it? If I'm teaching you to make $200 a day, that's an extra $48,000 a year.
Yes.
And this is a skill set you can use every year. So honestly, I should be charging even more than $5,000, right? That's 1% of your potential in 1 year.
Lifetime earnings, yeah. And not to mention, what you're teaching is passed down generationally. I mean, it's a skill. Once someone learns it, your kids can learn it. I mean, that's amazing.
And we have a lot of parents in the class who've taught their kids.
Really?
I have some kids right now in college whose parents took the class. Kids are in college. They're making an extra $100, $200 a week from trading. How revolutionary is that when you're in college?
Yeah, because in college, I was eating a cup of noodles.
Girl, that ramen was real good.
And I could have been going to get some crab and lobster if I was making...
And invite all your friends. Everybody would have had a McDonald's.
Dinner's on me.
Right? We not starving college kids.
No.
We know how to trade, right?
Yeah.
But those are skills, like you said, that can be passed on. And then I think the last thing people need to think about is also their time. What is the value of your time? So now I'm starting to think about higher ticket things okay, if I were to do a mastermind and do some in person, I personally know that I can make $200,000 in an hour. Plus, I actually can make $1 million in a day. So for someone to say, can I have a day of your time? Well, do you have $1 million? No, it's I don't charge that, but that's the other part people need to think of. Your time is actually valuable. And many times we just give away our hours and give away our time without thinking about the cost.
Yeah.
But it costs you something every time you give to someone else.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Putting that into perspective and pricing from there.
Yeah.
I love that. So when it comes to, trading, why do people need to learn this? And I also want to ask you, why do you think it's not something that's taught in school and from a young age just openly?
To tell you the truth, there's a lot of myths. When you ask why it's not taught, there's a lot of myths. One of the myths is that trading is gambling. But actually, when you're reading charts, we're very statistical.
You're studying,
Right. We're taking high probability trades. We know our risk ahead of time. So it's not a gamble for us.
Yeah.
It'd be the same as someone shooting a free throw. You know your free throw percentage before you step on the line because you've done it so much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a myth that I think is out there. Another myth is that people think it takes a lot of money to start trading, and it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Like, you can start with any amount. As a trader, though, I do think it's a little higher than a regular investor.
Right.
Investor, you got $20, go find a $20 stock and you're in.
You're in, yep.
But trading, you're trying to make a percentage of the amount of money in your account. So I tell people, start with about $1,000 to $2,000, and then when you're trying to make 1% regularly, that's $20, and it can start adding up.
Yeah.
But you need to start with something.
I like that. I mean, that's so accessible to just know you can start with what you have and go from there.
Exactly. But that's a myth. And I think that's why people don't teach it, that you have to have a lot of money. Another thing is people think that you're going to lose everything.
There's so much fear around it. I know.
So much fear.
When I first heard about it, everybody was like, no, you can't. And I'm like, but Teri's doing it.
Right.
And looking good while at it. So
appreciate it.
Let's figure this out.
There's risk management. Like, there's something called a stop loss. I talk about it all the time, but it's something that I'm going to hammer to death, because I feel like I didn't know that there was a stop loss when I first started trading, and I lost a lot.
Yeah.
If I had just known that there was some kind of thing in there where if the stock went down, it would take me out of the trade, I would have saved thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So there are ways to protect your risk. You just need to learn them.
Yeah, you have to learn them. And so when we're thinking about what are maybe the top 3 things someone needs to know when they want to get started in trading?
1, education is important. Trading stocks is one of the easiest entries to doing something, but it's also the easiest to fail.
That's important.
Right. A lot of people got all excited about Robinhood in 2020, and they opened an account and they invested in something, but they had no idea what they were doing.
I remember that.
But it's because it's easy. It's easy to open an account. It's easy to get started. But like I said, it's also easy to fail if you don't know what you're doing. So number 1 thing is get educated.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to say trade and travel is the best, because we are. But there's tons of people out there doing investing. Just learn something.
Yeah.
Second thing, I think, is start looking at financial news. A lot of people out there are cord cutters nowadays, and the only thing they look at is Netflix and Amazon Prime. And they have no idea what's going on in the world. If you're a trader, you need to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
You need to know that there's, wars, and there's inflation, and gas prices are going up. That's important.
Yeah.
It's going to impact your investments. And then I think the last thing is also just start. You got to learn how to be disciplined and give up some of the fear. Trading is something that you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. You do.
It's going to be a little scary. It's emotional in the beginning. It teaches you so much about yourself. Like, and I'm sure, like,
I've heard you talk about that. Yeah.
And you're in the course too, so I know that you're like, Teri, I'm scared to take my first
I don't know
trade.
about this now. Let me just.
But that is like, when you learn how to take chances
Yes.
and bet on yourself and invest in yourself, like, your whole life is going to get better.
Yeah.
But those are things that you'll also learn emotionally as a trader.
Yeah.
So just be ready for that.
I think that's really key too, because like you said, you do learn a lot about yourself, and it forces you to become a person that pushes past fear, which we need in starting a business.
Yeah.
We need this in life in general, So what's your number? Like, I was asked recently for an interview if there was any number that once I hit it, I'm like, that's enough. I don't need to make any more money. Do you have a number like that?
Girl, okay, on Billions. Have you ever watched the show Billions?
I've only seen a couple episodes, but it's good.
Okay, there's this one girl on there in a recent episode, and so the manager guy, I'm so dramatic. So y'all be like, does she have to tell the whole story? Yes, I gotta tell the whole story.
That's a Gemini. We have to.
Right. So there's this one manager guy. He's talking to one of the girls, and he's like, I know you have a number. And so he tells her it's 100 million. And she's like, yes, that's it. It's 100 million. Because she wants to be philanthropist and she wants to help the world. And he's like, you know what? At 100 million, you're going to be kind of rich, but you won't actually be able to solve problems in the world. Yeah. So then he asked her
Imagine
again.
that being kind of rich.
Right. He's like, kind of rich. I was like, dang, okay.
Dang, okay.
Shoot, okay, what am I? I'm kind of poor. What am I? Like, okay. Like, I'm like, what? You kind of wealthy, kind of, I don't know what you is. But anyway, so then he asked her, so did you change your number? And she's like, yes, 1 billion. So I guess that's probably my number, 1 billion.
I think so. And it's crazy the difference between 1 billion and 1 million. It's significantly larger.
It is.
Which I didn't really realize until I looked at it. And it's a big number.
It's a big number. But you know what? To tell you the truth, one thing I'm really good at breaking down numbers into like actual attainable pieces.
Yeah.
And so one thing is, okay, if I can get to 100 million, it's really just like, okay, 10 million a year, 10 times.
10 more times.
Okay, I could do that.
Yep.
And then from there, it's like, well, once you have 100 million, well, now you just have to like have 10% return. Well, is that 10%? Actually, like 100% return. We can figure out the numbers. But the point is, it's attainable.
It's attainable.
If you think about it like, okay, long term, by like 60.
Yep.
So
you can be there.
Yeah.
And I think that's key too, setting goals in such a way where they really are attainable. Even if you're thinking, like you said at the beginning, you just needed to make $300 a day.
Right.
To get you to $6,000 a month, right? And so when you break it down in a smaller way like that, I think a lot of new and aspiring entrepreneurs can see that number is not that far away.
It's really not.
And
I think it's more so about the mindset to allow yourself to dream for it.
Yeah.
Because I may never get to $1 billion.
But
I may not get. I'm gonna get to 100 million.
Yeah, girl.
I ain't even gonna put that on myself. I'm gonna get there. But the point is, I allowed myself to dream about it and not think that it was so far fetched that it was out of range.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes we squash our dreams and we squash our potential because we don't even allow ourselves to think of things.
To get there. And I think too, as Black women, what has it been like having this success, taking up this space, and being a sign, I think, to other Black women? Does it feel heavy sometimes? Do you feel like there's so much more you want Black women to be able to achieve?
It definitely feels like a blessing.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that the Lord allowed me to be in this position.
Yes.
I'm grateful that I'm allowed to live this life. I feel like I get the privilege
It is.
to serve in this way and the privilege to live like this. So hey, whatever the Lord needs me to do, I'm a God girl. Whatever the Lord
me
needs
too.
me to do, then I'm here for it.
And I think it's true. You are a sign to other women that your best life is possible. And it's absolutely okay to just want to trade and travel.
Yes.
And be living your best life somewhere and not have to worry about anything other than the next day.
Yeah. And you know what I think is important for people to know too is there are seasons.
Yeah.
Like there might be a season where you're really working hard, really pushing, and then there might be a season where you relax. Like even this year, one of the things I'm loving about myself is I've given myself the permission to just take a break.
Yeah.
There are going to be some months this year where I'm not going to put a meeting on my calendar. And it might be a month where I don't make as much. And you know who's going to be really happy? Me.
And that's what matters.
And that's okay.
And I think, would you also say for entrepreneurs that active rest and being able to say, you know what, I am going to take this time off so I can come back stronger. I think we have the tendency to just work ourselves into a frenzy, and then we don't always enjoy the money that we're making.
Right. What was the point? Because we talk about work from anywhere, WFA, I'm going to live my best life, but you're not.
Yeah.
Your business has become your new boss.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just have to realize if our goal was to leave our job because we didn't want a boss, why now have we made this thing
take over us? And how would you give entrepreneurs advice with regard to scaling? So when it is time to bring other people into our business and, when it is time to let go of the baby, essentially, what helped you to be able to make that shift from doing it all yourself to then putting it on a team?
I like the idea of I do, we do, you do. I'm starting to employ that with like every part of my business.
I like that.
And like even there's a new coach that I want to bring on, and that was hard for me. Like letting go of the coaching calls myself. I felt like if they don't see my face, then
they're not going to be happy, right?
They're gonna leave. But then I had to remember, if I had done my job, I'm supposed to be training people to really be able to do what I do.
Yes.
Like that is a sign of my success that someone else could do this for me.
Yeah.
So first, I'm doing the coaching calls. Then this last one, it was me and one of the new coaches. I did half of it, and then I let them do a little bit. And then soon it'll be just them. So I think that's a huge thing in scaling. I do, we do, you do.
And now it can exist beyond you, so that 60, 50, 70 years from now, when you're just laid up somewhere and living your best elderly life, trade and travel can still be
It'll be
enrolling
legacy.
students. Yeah.
Yeah.
So exciting. So my last question for you is, if you were seated right here in front of God and he said, Teri, ask me for anything and you can have it, what would you ask for?
I would ask for wisdom. Wisdom and discernment.
Yes.
Because wisdom goes so far.
Yes.
And yeah, that's really what I would ask for. Lord, just give me the wisdom. And I know that there was, I think there was a part in the Bible, and I don't know if it was Solomon, but someone actually did get a chance to ask God. Yeah, and he asked for wisdom, and then he asked for the ability to lead his people. So that would probably be the other thing. Lord, help me to be a better leader.
Yes.
So that I can lead them in the right way.
I think you're doing a great job of that. You know, you have 20,000 students behind you who are championing you all the way. And one other thing, what have been the biggest success stories you've had with your students? Because that's amazing.
I have one student who took an account from $500 to almost six figures now. And he actually might be past six figures. But from $500,
life-changing.
that's like 10,000% return.
Yes.
And he did that within like a year and a half.
Oh, listen.
Yes. Another
I'm going to
one.
study tonight.
She's like, let me get back up in this trade and travel
this
course. Another one, she paid for her kitchen renovation. I love that story just because we know how expensive kitchens are. Like $30,000, you can just give it to the, Home Depot directly.
Yes.
But she said, no, I'm going to trade that money, that same $30,000 I was going to pay. I'm going to trade it. She actually did it within like 6 months. She traded, made $30,000 to pay for the renovation, and still had money in her account to do it again.
That was so smart.
Yes.
That was such a smart way to flip that money and make it happen. Well, Teri, tell the people how we can find you if they want to start trading, how they can enroll, and just how to stay in touch with you.
We have a free webinar at tradeandtravel.com, or you can find us anywhere at Trade and Travel on YouTube, on Instagram, and then I'm sure you'll have some links. So if they want to actually join you in the course,
yes,
check out the
Come on,
links.
y'all.
Yeah.
We got to pay for these Greece trips, honey. We need to be living our best life with Teri. Well, it was such an honor to have you on the show today. You guys, make sure that you look down below in the description. I'm going to link everything where you can find Teri, where you can enroll. And then I want you all to comment below any other questions you have, because we might have to have you back for a part 2.
Hey, you got to come to me in PR in Puerto Rico. She said,
say less.
Right.
I'm going to trade my way, get my little money, and I'm going to be on the next flight.
Hey, girl. Hey.
It will be so amazing. So thank y'all again for tuning into the show, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. So if you want to be on the next episode of Get Elevated, or if you want to be in touch with me and the team, then you can email podcast@getelevated.com, or find me on Instagram and email me at hello@ellietalksmoney.com. Either way, we cannot wait to have you on the show and have you apply to be a guest for a part of the live business coaching. I'll see you guys soon.